Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. Your old Baron Tag himself sitting here behind the Tag microphone in the mighty Tag estate in my Tag office. How is everybody doing tonight? I hope everyone is doing fantastic. Um, I just noticed something. I don't have any lights on myself here. Should I do that? There we go. A little bit of light. And then there should be light. Oh, that's a little too bright. Wash me out. There we go. So, welcome everybody. Sorry we didn't have a show last week. Was a little under the weather. In fact, I've been under the weather for quite some time, and finally was able to get a doctor's appointment in last Monday. This Monday here, uh, we were fearing. We were fearing at the time. Like I said, I was going to tell everybody what's going on. We were fearing that there might be a Parkinson's scare going on with me because I was suffering from tremors, panic attacks in the morning. So some stuff that was kind of classic that would say that person was starting from that. It seems that I'm actually just crazy because the doctor we went to, he put me down saying that I have high anxiety. High anxiety. So anxiety was gave me some new pills, starting them out actually right now. The first day that I'm fully on them, I'm actually feeling pretty good. The only thing is makes you just a wee bit tired. And I just want to say here in my start, so I just want to start off with that before I talk to anybody in general and put the invites out as well. Of course, the old man is here. He came in early because, well, he doesn't have a life. And of course, my super wrench himself, the man of the other tower of power, John Rendell. He is here. Good to see you, John. And also, I just want to apologize to everybody. We didn't have a King show on Sunday. 424 himself, he was having some internet issues. So unfortunately, we didn't get to go on the air, which that is actually one of the high points of my week. So it's sad that it didn't happen, but hey, we're here now, and of course, there's always next week. Hello, Glenn. How you doing? Good to see you here. So right now, going into our chat, I am putting in the link into our show. Anyone who is interested, because like I said, this is open mic night, the last Wednesday of the month. So anyone is welcome to come on board. I think the one rule, like last time, the one rule was nothing about the slapping at the Oscars. I think the one rule we'll have today is please no Amber turds. We don't need to hear any more about Johnny Depp's little issues that he has going on there. So, like I said, I am feeling fine, peachy keen. I haven't felt this good in just a while, in a long while. So, and it was just creeping up, and hitting several days. It was affecting me being on the air. It was affecting me being on the Kings. I could tell that I didn't have that gusto, that zest for life, and I just love doing this because I'm just an egomaniac. Here I am in front of the microphone. The camera's on. I mean, if I really wanted to, I could be that way and not show my ugly face, the face that was made for radio. But here I am. Now, I think we have someone who's coming in. Before I do want to go that way, how much fun are we having with Elon Musk? How much fun are we having with the meltdown in for, I think, a victory for all of us for free speech, including YouTube here, for many of the YouTubers who have been held down. So let's hope this is a good turn of events that we have going on here. As for turn of events, well, there we go. Fez for hire himself, the mighty bounty hunter, who is still trying to make Steve Gutenberg a star. And then following behind that is the old man himself. Hopefully, he does not have his speakers too high. There we go. Fez for hire himself, the mighty bounty hunter. Yeah, I'm hearing some feedback. Someone out there has got to turn their microphones down a little bit, or turn off their YouTube, and just go off of the old StreamYard. So if you got your YouTubes going, please. Too high.
I'm good.
Yeah, I think you're good. I think it's the old man. He's got to turn off his YouTube and just go off of the
Microphones
go off of the StreamYard. So now we're gonna have to give him a crash course now, won't we? Huh? What is this? Esquire? How are you with Esquire? That's like Bugs Bunny Esquire.
Well, I stole that from Tumbleweeds, the old cowboy comic.
Oh, yeah.
And lots of luck.
Yep.
And he thought a lot of himself, and he made up a sign that said, "Lots of luck, Esquire Incorporated." Or no, "Lots of Luck Express, Esquire Incorporated." And I was kind of feeling like him today.
Yeah. Lots of luck.
Yeah.
Just looking around here. So, and old man, it sounds like you've got your YouTube down.
Yep, sounds good now.
Okay, because I don't have him. Don't have him muted, but he's not talking. It's a rare thing.
Hey, am I on now?
Yes.
No.
Maybe.
Possibly.
I'll tell you for $10.
Why am I on a delay?
Oh, you shouldn't be on a delay. Not unless you're listening off of the YouTube. But sometimes there is a lag. Sometimes there is a lag that happens out there. So I know your internet that you got. Your internet sucks.
Hey, watch it, kid.
You know I'm right. Yeah, you know I'm right. 100% across the board. Oh, and Glenn has some internet fuzziness. Hopefully he'll bounce back here soon. And the long-suffering Mrs. Tag, let's put an F in the chat for her because she is suffering some bad laryngitis. So hopefully, it's been going on for a couple of weeks. You're a lucky man,
right?
Yeah, don't let her hear that. I have to live here. I have to live. Let's put it that way.
Hope you're feeling better, Mrs. Tag.
Hello, Mrs. Tag.
And that you won't be long suffering with the laryngitis.
No, we want to get that done and over with as soon as possible. I mean, I don't know what we want to talk about. I mean, we've been coming off of a big week, but there's one thing I really wanted to bring up, I guess.
Uh-oh.
And that has to do, of course, the fact that so many IQ 72 midgets out there, and they're lucky if they make IQ 72. Those are the geniuses of the lot. But it has come back, I've seen them screaming and crying about Steve Martin from his bit that he did back in the 1970s on Saturday Night Live. That was his King Tut.
Oh, yeah.
The King Tut routine he did, a song. And, of course, a lot of people have to remember that, Steve Martin never considered himself a comedian. He considered himself a performance artist. Yeah. And when he went out and did King Tut, it was just like Short People that was done by Randy Newman. It was satire going after. And he was, Steve Martin wasn't, he thought the whole thing with the King Tut going out there was just ridiculous. He did that song to make fun of it. And now,
I remember that.
I remember seeing that. I mean, I'm old enough. And now, of course, because a bunch of drooling, midget-brained morons were told by their midget-drooling, midget-brained professors at school that this is offensive, are running around and causing all sorts of problems about it. Yet, again, we're offended. And it's like, well, who's offended? King Tut? He ain't complaining.
No, he's dead, man.
Yeah, he's been dead for a long time.
Yeah, because I remember when that. Well, I remember when that came out. I think that was at the time they were doing the tour of the King Tut exhibit all over the country.
Right.
And either they were touring it or it was in New York or something like that. But it was a big deal. And he just wanted to do a fun parody song. I mean, it's, no different than Weird Al, actually. Might have been an inspiration for him because he did that long before Weird Al.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
But, it never ceases to amaze me what offends some people.
I know. And the fact that the whole thing was satire. It was all satire.
Yeah. and it's just harmless fun, you know. I don't think it was even when as far as satire, it's just having some fun. Hey
Mm-hmm.
mouse, hey hail there.
Yep. Hail Mouse, the mighty cat, the cranky butt himself.
Yep.
He's getting his contracted amount of time. He says, "I have to have a certain amount of time," so
Yeah.
he makes his way in there.
Yeah.
So
The reason I keep looking over here is I have the big screen over here. I can see better.
I don't blame you at all. Trust me. I need to get some big screens themselves. Gives you a
Yeah.
good profile, though. You got that good
Yes.
profile going.
Sort of. The beard is
Sort of.
coming back.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, you're looking a little bit fuzzier there. It's good to see
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That's kind of like when Brandon, anime guy, when he shaved off and showed his face. It's like I told him, don't you ever do that again. You look like Benny Hill. I mean, he honestly, he looks just like Benny Hill without his beard and mustache. He needs to
Wow.
have that. Just like I have to. I've been told I have to keep my beard and mustache. Because I don't know
Yeah.
if I told you the story, John. Did I?
Yeah. Yeah.
I did.
And
Okay,
it's
yeah.
very
So,
very similar to a buddy of my father's when he was working at the battery plant. Was the one fella, he'd had a beard practically all his life. He got married, went home one day a few years later, shaved it off, and the wife said, "Grow it back now." I
right
guess
here.
he looked like something that would have been named Poindexter. But you know,
Oh yeah. I
I
mean,
hoping
shaved
the
my
guy
beard and
would
mustache
grow.
off some years ago,
Mm.
and boy, was that a result. People
Yeah,
didn't even recognize me. That
yeah.
knew me really good.
Well, that happened to me at the Masonic Lodge a few years ago. I had a beard almost as big as yours, and that's how they knew me. And I come in the one day clean shaven, and was like, "Who the hell is this?" You know, it's
watch it.
me.
Yeah, as you're
You
getting
know,
tossed out the door. It's me, honestly, really.
yeah, I got my dues card and everything.
Yeah.
Uh,
The handshake. I got the handshake.
yeah, yeah, but what fun! And of
Uh,
course, the other fun thing today was moving a bed from an upstairs bedroom in my friend's house, and it's a very cramped, tiny house, and very steep staircase with, of course, that roof thing that's at an angle above, matching the angle of the stairs,
mm-hmm.
and having to bend the mattress around one wall, bend it over, and get it underneath that ceiling and down the stairs. It took about an hour to do it, but we did it. We managed to get it bent and twisted and turned and down and got it out to the dumpster. And then we went for the box spring. And I told him, go out and get the saw because I'm not trying to bend this thing.
Try a window.
We did want to do that because there's actually a door there, but it's so rotted on the outside of the house, he was afraid the whole thing would fall apart. So
Oops.
I ended up just taking the sawzall and going right down the middle of it, which is kind of amazing because, I only drew blood in two places here.
Only two.
So,
Boy, you're getting better.
hey, I actually microwaved a hot dog without a self-inflicted injury the other day. So, I mean, I'm doing good.
You are doing absolutely fantastic.
Yeah,
I'm amazed. I am amazed.
yeah.
I gotta get myself one of these days another screen, but I'm gonna
Mhm.
I'm gonna show this one up. This is the what I'm really hoping for
Mhm.
coming up here with Sir Elon Musk.
Oh, yeah. Yep. There's actually a video that explains why they're all broken. And it has to do with basically the company that makes them has a monopoly on the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they can't or won't make the parts for it. And it's just ridiculous. But yeah, McDonald's has kind of gone down the hole anyway. They
Yeah.
took away the trans fat. The chicken nuggets don't taste as good. The fries aren't as good.
You
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 know,
know why the chicken nuggets don't taste as good? It's
Right.
all white meat. They took out the dark meat. They used to have a mixture of dark and white meat in there, and that's what gave it when they first came out. That's what made them really tasty. You had that combination, and then
That
after a while, they just
um,
went with completely white meat.
that kind of sucks.
Yeah,
You know, I mean, I like
yeah.
my dark meat.
Hmm.
And
I
that's all. That's the only part of the turkey I'll eat at Thanksgiving is the legs and the dark meat.
hmm
That's
and
part of
yeah, and I mean, I like my chicken legs, the
it.
drumsticks and stuff like that. I mean, I like my white meat too, but I like my my dark meat with the legs and all that. But
Yeah.
that's what I always liked about McDonald's chicken nuggets. And then, well, I can't remember 20 years. I can't remember how long ago it was they went. Oh, we're all white meat now because we're health conscious. Oh, bite
Yeah.
me, bite me.
But your white meat supremacists.
That's it. There we go.
See, I'm
Yeah,
topical. Yep.
you're topical. There
Well,
is
the
some
one thing
folks.
about it is that John lied to us in the
Mm,
chat area. He said he's got his Mickey Mouse ears on. Where are they?
on fire.
Oh yeah.
So is Disneyland and Disney World on fire.
Yeah. Well, you
Well,
hang around those things long enough, you'll get dizzy.
well, it's better
Yeah.
than what that Gary from Pulp Culture Minefield. When he was rooming, had some roommates that were gay. They went to to Disneyland. They came back with the rainbow mouse series. So he's got a picture of him wearing those rainbow rainbow ears. And
On
so it's a big.
purpose?
Well, yeah, he did that because Gary's goofy. Yeah, I don't know if you
Oh,
ever seen him at Pulp Culture Minefield, but he's great. He's half bubble off center. He's great. He's
yeah.
wonderful.
Oh, he's a
A good
different
laugh.
Gary than the one I'm thinking of. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. That's Gary and Kevin over at Pulp Culture Minefield. So
I'll have to check him out.
yeah, yeah. He's Gerry. He's Gary, but it's spelled like Gary or Jerry. He says, "I'm the Gary." Then there's Jerry. It's spelled the same way. So
I
Yeah.
so
see
he'll say,
Mrs. Tag asked me about how I feel about chicken nuggets.
Mm,
Do you
he
really
doesn't
want
like
me to
him.
go off on that?
He don't
please
like no
do.
chickie. He don't like no chickie. That's for sure.
Well, if it's
I can
got
tell.
two legs and what have you,
Mm,
Well, two legs. Well, I'm chicken. That's for sure.
yeah.
That's for sure.
I got a
I
kick out of one I saw a little earlier at a news post. That
Mm,
one was really, really good. It showed a nurse and a girl at Hooters saying who made the most money. And the
yeah.
nurse was devastated to find out the Hooters girl was making more money with tips and everything.
Oh,
Yeah.
of course. Speaking of nurses, Wendy Webb says she's going to try to come on tonight here.
Oh,
Actually, it
excellent.
was just
Neat.
yeah. She was saying that she was doing some work at the hospital. It looks like they got her into the operating room to help out.
Oh,
But she says that she's going to get when she gets home, she's going to join in. So,
she got
Cool.
drafted to go back in, huh?
well, she's a trooper. You know her.
Don't
I
say
mean, anyone who
drafted
knows
around
her,
Wendy. She's ex-army.
that's true.
So
Yeah,
am I.
yeah.
What falls from the sky? Bird shit in the 101st.
Mm. That one I got to remember. Oh dear.
The
So,
bird shit is the 82nd Airborne.
definitely got to remember those.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm surprised. Yeah, I mean, uh, but especially if Rough Girl's around, you can drop those on her, being that she was
Mm.
in there and all that. Good old
Yeah,
Rough Girl herself.
The dang
she's
dumbest
interesting.
thing
She
they ever
doesn't
say
look like.
is, as a paratrooper, you're going to jump from an airplane. When they
Mhm.
lower that back ramp, you're about halfway down and it sucks you right out. You don't jump.
Yeah, you're more or less sucked out.
You got it.
And of
Well,
course,
that
it always
sucks.
amazes me. You watch the World War II paratroopers in movies, or the actual stock footage that was really the invasion, and it amazes me these guys will go out the window and none of them get hung up on the tail of the plane. And of course, that's where I would end up, is hung right up around the tail. screwing up the stabilizers and crashing the bloody thing.
Well, we got someone else
Well,
joining us here.
yeah.
Another man of the hour, Tower of Power. Let us
Ah,
all welcome Texas, Salty
yeah.
Texas
Yeah.
C.
Hello,
How you
Texas.
doing?
Hello, Salty Texas C.
Hey, how you guys doing?
All
Sorry,
right.
I
all
got
right.
multiple audio sources going here. Sorry about that. So
Oh,
I was still in another show, is helping out Wilton, and he was yelling at me, and I'm sorry. You guys are awesome. I love what you're talking about. I'm going to listen to you fine gentlemen talk, but it's an honor to just hang out with you guys. So thanks for the
Thank
the
you.
link.
John,
Oh,
and
yeah,
answering
always.
the question, on a C-47, when you jump, that side
Right.
door coming out, you actually go down and below the tail.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, my dad was in the 8th Troop Carrier Command, and those paratroopers you saw going out for D-Day, one of them may have been out of his airplane.
No kidding.
No
Wow.
kidding.
Awesome.
But
In
it's
another
great
part
to
of the
have you
world,
here.
Hmm?
I was just
Well,
going to say, it's great to have Salty Texas C here. I mean, he's got a better radio voice than me. I mean, that's for
No,
sure.
I don't. You got
Yes,
a
you
lot
do.
better radio voice. No, but you know what's crazy is I read a lot of World War II history. Of course, my grandparents were in it, and I was blessed enough to grow up with a lot of people who fought in World War II around when I was like a kid in the 70s, and some of the stories were amazing and horrifying at the same time. But that jump bag, when they took the rifle and they had this whole kit that was attached to your leg when you went out the door, and half the time the back blast from the props or just hitting the wind, the airstream, a lot of those guys, if they landed alive, didn't even have their firearm because God knows where the hell it was because it got ripped off their body. And it's like, talk
Jeez.
about being put in a crazy situation. My God.
Mm.
I've jumped
Yeah.
from the C-47
Really?
in another part of the world.
Mhm.
Wow.
And yeah, what's hanging down below your leg in those bags
Mhm.
is everything you need.
Mhm.
That's got your C-rats,
Mhm.
a small personal medical kit. You name it. Everything is in there. Your world is in that bag.
God. See, with me, it would have been my intestines because I don't want to get on a plane to begin with, and I don't want to jump out of a perfectly good plane that's functioning.
You got
Well,
that right.
I
I
have
jumped
this
out.
thing about falling. It's not the fall that kills you; it's that sudden splat when you hit the ground.
Well, I made many jumps out of an airplane. I think I might have made more jumps than my dad, to be honest, jumping out of an airplane.
Really?
And that was usually out of a Fokker F-27 onto the tarmac, or jumping out of a Fairchild Metro 3 onto the tarmac. No way
Oh,
was
wow.
any higher than that. Yeah, I mean, I was just on the, cleaning out the airplanes. It's like, okay, I'm going to jump off the plane. There, jumped out of the airplane. Haha.
Yeah.
Then after that's the most I'm going to jump out of a plane. That's for sure.
Well, I remember Sentimental, first day with the new tongue. Sentimental Journey, the B-17, came into
Oh.
Avoca Airport back in the 80s, and I got to tour that. And the surprising thing is, it's much bigger on the outside than it is on the inside.
Mhm. Mhm.
You're damn
And
right on that one.
Yeah.
little fat boy like me didn't fit so well.
Yeah,
you know-
it was this. The subs were even worse for World War II.
Yeah.
I went in a couple of those as a kid, just as a teenager, and I'm 6'5" now, and I was probably like 6'4" then, and forget about it. I mean, like those subs were not built for anybody over 6 feet. There's no way that you could cram yourself in there. But
Yeah, that's it.
If
Wow.
you look at the submarine crew from back then, they're all little guys.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I was in submarine school up in Groton back in '84, and I did the one tour of the Skipjack, which was
Yeah.
the boat that my Uncle John Rottermo had been chief of the boat, and he had since retired from the Navy by then. But I thought, wow, I'm going to go on Uncle John's boat. So I went in, and yeah, it's kind of not as small as the old ones, but it was small enough. And with me at only 5'6",
Mhm.
I'm still feeling the walls coming in, looking at the bunks going, yeah, how do you sleep in 1 foot high of
Yeah.
headroom over the bunk?
Yeah.
And a few weeks later, graduation's coming up, and I went up into the new building, whatever the military calls it, where you sleep.
Oh yeah,
And
your bunkhouse.
we're
Yeah.
going up the elevator, and my buddies and I figured we'll play some pool. Well, you got to get the rack and the pool balls and the cues from the front desk downstairs. So we signed them out, got on the elevator. I'm carrying the rack around my neck, the balls in my hand, 2 pool cues. The elevator's on its way up, and the power went out. And I freaked.
Oh God.
Suddenly,
Woo.
claustrophobia took hold.
Mhm.
And next thing you know, they're offering me a surface ship, a discharge, or another A school. And I
Mhm.
decided I can't deal with the stuff going on at the time because the regulations then were absolutely ridiculous. So I took the
Mhm.
discharge.
Mm.
But that, and I had trouble clearing the ears and my knees. But yeah, that was a
Well,
scary place.
Well,
Yeah.
the fun thing too about being on the sub too is hot bunking. Basically, you jump out of the bunk and someone else jumps
Yep.
right on in. So,
And
I
the
don't know if
part
I'd
they
like
left is still there.
hmm Yep.
And a lot of the subs, the guys slept in hammocks down in the torpedo bay with a hammock hung from the torpedoes.
Yep.
Wow.
I think they finally legalized that. But one of the best stories there was when I think it was the USS Madison came back 2 weeks early. And within a week of that, there were 50 divorce cases were taking place. So these guys out at sea, their wives are, we call them sea widows. They're out at the enlisted men's club getting, lucky.
Oh yeah.
And
There was a different set of boots underneath their bed.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yep. Hey, Floral from Under a Rock, welcome to the chat. Good to see you. And of course, we have Pacific 4 and 4. He'll be
hello.
And yeah, Pacific will be coming back to harass us. Him.
Excellent.
So, oh yeah,
I was on board one of those submarines that you go through, at the museum thing.
Yeah.
And I'll put it this way. You can imagine what my body looks like if I got a hair and beard like this.
Yeah.
They couldn't even squeeze me in through half the doors.
It is crazy. It is it literally, like, those subs. Could you imagine being stuck in there for months at a time, and then you wait for an oiler to come and then top you off, and then maybe get your provisions? I couldn't do it. I couldn't. I mean, God bless those guys. God bless those submariners in World War II.
Well, that's the thing. With me, it was I couldn't do my bit for God and country in the military, so I ended up going back into the fire company, and then I joined another fire company when I moved up here because my sister married the chief, so I figured why not. And then I joined the one right down the road to the east of me, and then joined the one to the south of me, and then joined the one to the west of me.
Oh,
so I'm in 5 different fire companies at the same time, and that ended up after about 18 years as burnout.
Oh, I get it.
But,
I was a volunteer firefighter too, starting to become a paramedic. I ran with an engine company, and I got hurt responding to a call due to someone else's not doing what they're supposed to, and so that was kind of it. And I miss it. Great camaraderie.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, especially in my first fire company. That was the first place where I really had friends in my town. And these were people who were my sister's age. She was 3 years older than me. And it was just a great bunch of people.
Yeah.
I mean, when you go to the fire company for the first couple of times and they say, hey, come on over to the cemetery with us and play football. And we're playing flag football, which means if you get out of there with your shirt intact and no blood, you're good.
Yeah. I was in a fire company near a major military base. I'll just say that. So a lot of those guys were former military, and they brought a lot of that same discipline. So going through the firefighter academy process was boot camp. And but
Yeah.
once you earned the respect, once you showed that you were a serious person, then it was cool. Then it was cool.
Yeah.
But boy, they wanted to weed out the people they couldn't trust. And
Yeah,
in
see,
retrospect, that was good.
I was back in the days in Pennsylvania when firefighting was dangerous and sex was safe.
Oh, yeah.
And the training we got was the Northeast Pennsylvania Firefighters Federation. And that was, they'll find a house to burn down, they'll find cars to burn or blow up, and I've got more stories about that than I can count. But you've got the ladder training, which I got to give credit to my sister. She went up the one ladder none of us would go up. It's called a church ladder. It's a 3-section, 50-foot tall ladder. It's held up by these 2 struts that come out.
Yep.
And basically, the idea is you go up it, over it, and down it.
Yep.
None of us would do that, but she did.
They made us do that. They made us do that in full PPE. They also made us, because it was an engine company and we had some high structures, they made us all actually go up that fully extended ladder and then did what they called a simulated wind event, where you hold on while they're shaking it. And and I don't like heights, but I wasn't gonna let those guys see me sweat. Not those boys. I was like, bring it, just bring it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of those things that it was
when
just
I was
crazy.
in the service. When I was in the service, in basic and all that, the DI came into the barracks. Now our barracks were all old World War II barracks, and he came in.
That's the word I was looking for.
We are looking for some firemen. Anybody want to be a fireman?
Right.
A couple of idiots all volunteered. I, unfortunately, was smarter than them. I didn't volunteer for nothing, except for damn it. But anyhow, what happened was they found out they fed the coal into the furnace to heat the barracks.
Right.
That was firemen in the Army.
Old school firemen. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. As in locomotive firemen.
Yeah,
when I was in the
which I've done that too. Not much, a couple of scoops full, but I've been around the trains all my life. But the other thing is, my nephew was in the Navy a few years back. He was on the USS George Washington when they had that fire on the way to Yokosuka.
Okay.
And it's worse than you saw in the news.
I believe it.
And he led 3 hose teams down into the area where those 4 guys were trapped in the one compartment. I also found out later on, he's the one, when it was still at Norfolk, he put the gasketing on that compartment. So in my book, he's a hero twice over, because doing those gaskets, you got to get it right or somebody's going to die. And they all got out okay. And I'm really proud of him. He's assistant chief at Lake Cary Fire Company now.
That's awesome.
The most important things that you ask him, he'll tell you, I'm not a hero. I just did my job.
Yeah,
Bingo.
Exactly.
Bingo.
But uncle's prerogative. But he's something else.
When I was working in the airlines, actually, one of the guys that was in the department I was in the parts department for about 3 years. And he was a volunteer firefighter. He was one of the buyers in Savage, Minnesota. And of course, we always gave him a ration. Then we heard the story that, there was a fire one night and they said that he went through the floor. And it's like all of us were aghast. It's like, oh my word, he went through the burning floor and all that. The moment we found out he was okay, everything was fine, he never got hurt and all that. That's when we started giving him that ration. It's like, oh, what happened? Were you carrying the fridge with all the beer trying to save it? Huh? Is that what you were doing? And, but it's amazing how you go from horrified to okay, now it's time to open up.
Well, that's what guys do, though. That's what guys do. I mean, and part of it too is displacement. Like, I'm sure that dude will still have moments where it comes back, but that was one of the things when we responded to a structure fire, and they're like, "Do you have any pets?" And it's like, "Well, we have a cat." Well, where's the cat? We don't know where it is. Well, it likes to be in the basement. Well, guess what? The basement's on fire, and like the decision was made nobody is going down in that basement. We're going to punch a hole in the floor and flood it out. And it's like,
Yeah.
sure enough, that cat came out. It was burned. It lived. But once that water started going and the fire, that cat came running out of that basement. But that's the last place you want to be. You do not want to go into a basement and structure fire.
No.
Yeah, and I never had. I'd always seen on things like Rescue 911 and shows like that. You'll sometimes see the cat or dog get rescued, and they'll give it the CPR and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And we were at a structure fire in Nicholson one night, and I'm up on the roof because it turns out to be a chimney fire. Mouse little guy.
Look at that.
But I'm up on the roof, and they pulled the cap off of this the chimney, and I guess venting it, and they're going to throw in the paper, the plastic bag with the powder from the dry chem extinguisher.
Yeah.
And all the while, this cat is running around the roof. Now, the one lieutenant, he's yelling at me with a mouthful of chewing tobacco. And I'm hearing, "Get the cat." What he was saying was, "Get the cap," because they were going to put it back on. So I go over, I pick up the cat, I bring it over to him. I said, "What do you want me to do with it?" And he's looking at me like, "You dummy." Like, spit out half the chewing tobacco and speak English. Damnedest things. That, and the only time I ever really got not hurt but embarrassed was, we're at a double wide house. It's on a cinder block foundation. The house itself is pretty well gone. And I'm up on a ladder just doing some mop up. I've got an 1.5-inch line with a TFT on the end. Now, Texas, you'll know what a TFT is.
Roger that. Yep.
Task Force Tips, or as we call them, Task Force Tits. Now, if you've got a good pump operator, he's not going to kill you with the thing.
Yes.
And we had
theoretically,
the right guy, But little me, I'm on the ladder. I don't have the angle exactly where I want it because of the way the sidewalk and all that's laid out. I get up on it, I open it up, and immediately I did something Steve Carell would do. Boom.
Oh, yeah.
Right down with the ladder.
Yeah. Overcharged line. Yeah.
Apparently our pump operator took a break. And you know how you've got enough pressure in the hoses, right? You turn the knob up until the hose man, the nozzle man, lifts slightly off the ground and then turn it back a half turn.
Yeah.
And this is one of those guys. But fortunately, it had been snowing, so I landed in a snowbank. But, God, those were fun and scary days.
Oh, yeah. And then when
we're out in the rural areas, so you're getting what you get for volunteers.
That's where we were, too. That's where I was, too.
Scary.
Can I tell you a true story about a chimney fire?
Sure.
This goes back a hell of a lot of years ago. About 60 to be exact.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, I'm in this 100-year-old plus log cabin.
Right.
Now, remember, roll back 60 years and it's 100-plus-year-old.
Yeah.
We're in this cabin, and this old grizzled character that's in there with me, suddenly the chimney catches fire. And he's sitting there smoking his pipe, looking. He goes, "Okay, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Don't worry. It ain't there yet." And he waited until he heard a certain sound. Then he goes outside, crawls up a ladder with 2 5-gallon cans of sand, and pours it on the chimney.
Yep.
Woof! It was out, but you should have seen the shit all over the floor.
Well, that's it. That's what happened. Yeah. No, my grandpa did that because they had a dairy farm. Because my grandparents they had a dairy farm in north central Wisconsin, so I used to go there all the time. And same thing, they had a couple outbuildings like that where they'd have a hand that was helping them with the cows. Same damn thing that happened, and it was catching on fire. And my grandpa just grabbed a bunch of sand, ran up the ladder, and just dumped it all everywhere, and then told the guy it was his problem to clean out the bunkhouse where he was on the farm. So
yeah.
Well, I really didn't like it when the guy kept calling me a tenderfoot.
That's funny. Yeah, this was in the early 70s. I mean, I was tiny, but I remember that because it was a fire and it was scary. So when I was a little kid, but yeah.
Yeah. And of course, the first time at fire school, again, Federation Fire School, which is basically Boy Scout camp with beer and flashy red lights. And I went to where they've got this house to burn. Now, I didn't realize at the time, even though I'd watched Emergency and all this on TV,
That
I
was a
didn't
great
realize
show.
at the time that up to 150 feet away, you're going to start feeling the fire of that, or the heat of that fire.
That was the crazy
really
thing I went through too. That is the crazy thing. You don't realize it until you first go into one. And if and then if you don't have your face mask on, okay, you know what I mean? Like, and you start to get that heat on your mask, you find out real quick. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's kind of amazing. Scary because you're thinking, if it's this hot that far, then how hot is it inside? And is that turnout coat really that good? And of course,
gentlemen,
back in the days,
I just want to have
fire.
Gentlemen, for one moment, gentlemen. I want us to welcome the lovely, the wonderful, the newlywed, the mighty Trauma RN herself, warrior, Wendy Webb has joined us. Wendy.
Awesome.
Hello, Wendy.
Hey, welcome.
How you doing?
How's Trix? Oh, surviving so far.
We're alive.
Good.
Wendy, Wendy, I saw you on Baron's show a couple of weeks ago. It's nice to meet you and work with you.
Oh, it's nice to meet you too, sir.
It's
been a busy day.
We're having fun with fire.
I saw that was busy. They got you dragged back into the OR there, I see, huh?
Well, I'm an RN first assist, and so I still do assist the heart surgeons on some of their more complicated heart surgeries, like to redo valves. And so I had done one of those this morning with the surgeon, and the patient this evening had a lot of blood in his chest tube, so we took him back to do an exploration, just to make sure none of the sutures popped on the heart. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Wendy, I got to ask a question of you, and that is,
Yes,
a friend of mine's wife just had heart surgery, and they replaced a valve. Well, they didn't replace it with a pig valve; they replaced it with a metallic or something. What the heck is that?
It's a mechanical valve.
Yep.
It's a mechanical valve. Yeah. Yeah, you can use either pig valves, which it's a biological valve versus mechanical valves. And there's many different types of mechanical valves. St. Jude is the one that we usually use for mechanical valves. And they have this like swivel in there as one, like the ventricle contracts and it'll swivel one way. Whenever the atrium contracts, it'll swivel the other way. And they work really good. They work pretty good.
Interesting.
I don't know if they use the St. Jude one on your friend's patient, or your friend's wife, but it's a pretty popular one, the St. Jude. So the St. Jude swivel.
I'm gonna say goodnight.
Zach is online.
Okay.
It's
Texas, salty Texas C.
I just wanted to say thank you.
Salty.
No. This is my second live stream of the day. I was working. Today is supposed to be my day off because my live stream went till almost midnight last night, and then we talked until 3 o'clock in the morning. So yeah. So this is supposed to be my day off, but I couldn't resist. I saw Baron, and I'm glad you're doing better. That's all I'm gonna say, and I hope everything's sorted. And I saw these two other handsome devils on here talking really cool things, and I wanted to be part of it.
One of them.
and so Wendy, I'm gonna let you shine because I really need to go to bed. But Baron, it was great. It was great hanging out with you, and you guys have a
good one, Salty.
Cheers.
Take care.
So, and we were going to replace him with Master Paul.
Hello.
Really?
Paul, how good to see you.
Master
I never
Paul.
saw you came on.
He
So
just
how
came on. His
Ooh,
boots are
where,
shaking.
when?
He's got this big fight coming up here
Yes, I
very
do.
soon.
Which I'm
Mhm.
actually all packed up for that. All I have to do is leave.
Anybody doesn't know that he has a big challenge at in Tennessee, right? At the convention down
Yes.
there, he is going to be going mano a mano against Darth Pappy himself, Mexican Iron Man.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Uh-oh.
I wish in a lightsaber battle. I wish I
Master
could
Paul, you're in trouble.
So everyone says, but no one has any faith in me.
Nobody
Well,
has
yeah.
any.
You know what you do to freak him out is
I didn't say you couldn't
turn your
handle it,
back
just
and be
you're in
wearing
trouble.
What is
you'll be
it?
wearing a T-shirt that says "Rabbit Chicken" on the back. That'll get him every time.
We will see.
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit too late for me to get my hands on one of those now, but if I could.
Now,
So
I'm
people
in
will
deep
say,
shit with a fellow I know in Australia. I told him, I said, what the hell's wrong with you guys? Don't you know there's no such thing as two rabbits?
Gotta
of
love it.
course, we want to
You're
say hi to
overrun
Zach.
with them
Welcome,
there.
Hey, Zach.
welcome to the show. Mhm.
Hey, Zax. So, anyways, what have you guys been talking about tonight?
They
Fire.
were talking about fire.
Fire. Interesting.
Fire.
Yeah.
That's my best
Yeah,
Beavis.
of course, John was a fireman
Hello,
for a
Zach.
while,
Good to see you.
Hmm?
and
Okay.
so we're just sitting around chewing the fat. If anybody has anything they want to bring in, this is kind of a nice, relaxed, free for all, and
I've got something
I
I'd
don't.
like to say. It's been
Hmm.
brewing all night,
What's
and that
that?
is, you think a certain movie company out there is in deep doo-doo with their superstars? Like
Well, which
Looney
one?
Tunes out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody who's seen anything of Captain Jack's trial thing knows
Mm,
she's a nutcase.
Yeah.
And we were actually during the redo valve I was doing with the heart surgeon this morning. He's been interested in that trial, so it's not unusual in surgery to listen to music or talk radio or something like that while you're working. But he actually wanted to listen to the trial while we were working, so we were.
That's a disaster.
Yeah.
It is. Oh, jeez.
Oh, that's that
I'll-
Andy or Johnny thing and
Johnny
Amber
Depp, yeah.
thing.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
haven't been paying attention to
Yeah.
that very much, and honestly, I don't want to.
If
I
they
don't
destroy each other, it'll be funny.
I hadn't
will.
really,
Uh,
but I mean, I was stuck in an operating room for 6 hours today listening to it. So
And we have Andy Masterson, the puppet master himself, out there, the great
hey,
talent.
Andy.
Hello.
And I think most people
Hello,
also know
hello.
that Master Paul is not only is he a lightsaber duelist and a Jedi Master, but he also a singer. He
I
plays
am,
his
yes.
guitar,
Oh, that's it.
writes up his own songs. He's
Would you
very
guys
awesome at those.
Would you guys like a performance?
Yes, please.
All right,
Yes,
let me get a
Sure.
guitar real quick. I'll be right back.
he'll be right back. I wanted to bring that out there because Master Paul is multi-talented. Of course, as you know, with the name Master Paul, he's into Star Wars. He's also into Star Trek. His show yesterday on the Next Generation, unfortunately, was canceled. But I can't wait to hear about that. They're going on to the Best of Both Worlds in Family. Some of the great episodes that Star Trek The Next Generation had.
Hmm.
And of course,
Was
also
that
Okay,
the
as far
finale?
as bad science fiction movies, has anybody seen Amanda and the Alien?
no,
no.
Do you know who's one of the
No.
people in it?
Oh,
We start out with Nicole Eggert, but we also have Michael Dorn.
oh,
Mm.
okay.
Oh, really? Hmm.
Oh, Bunk Waddle.
If you want
Bunk
to watch
Waddle
a
tournament.
really far out weird one, and don't expect anything beyond a B movie, but it's great. Laugh your rear end off.
Jimmy
And I'm at
Jimmy and I came across a really strange movie whenever we were on our honeymoon. Of course, we had a movie list of of older, cheesier shows we were going to watch, and we found a Elvira season, and the first one on that season, it was a Bill Maher probably wishes that this would just disappear. It had Bill Maher, Shannon Tweed, and Adrienne Barbeau, and it was called Cannibal Women of Avocado Jungle of Death. And it was as
Oh shit, that was funnier than hell.
D movie. It was
You
funny,
had me at Adrienne
but I bet
Barbeau.
Bill Maher would like for that one to never see the light of day.
Next on
That's
Twitter.
one of those where you could be expecting anything other than laugh your rear end off in an MSK
Yeah,
3000.
it was funny.
You're nuts.
Love it.
Yep, it was hilarious.
Oh, yeah. I've seen that movie. Did you watch some of the stuff that we suggested?
Yes. Yep.
Ah, good.
Yeah, because I know you mentioned Johnny Dangerously. You saw.
Johnny. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we watched Johnny Dangerously. We watched The Hidden.
The Hidden. Oh, what do you think The Hidden?
Everything. I liked it. We both did. We thought it was good.
It was a good one.
Of course, we actually watched Cheech and Chong, the Corsican Brothers, twice.
Twice.
So freaking funny.
Trump wanted to put something important in here, in the general part of it, and that is Tubi. Give him credit.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Tubi actually has all of the Generation 1 Transformer shows, if anyone's into that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That is the service they have, NSFR double E.
Mm-hmm.
Along with Pluto.
So it's a streaming service.
So we have ourselves our Jedi. We have ourselves our Jedi Troubadour.
Yep, I'm ready. You guys are ready.
He's all ready.
Ooh,
okay.
Very nice.
Yes.
All right. So this is one of the ones that I wrote, and I wrote it about my grandfather who taught me how to play guitar, and it's called "He Taught Me Everything." I've learned so much throughout my life, 'cause so many people have helped me so many times, and all of them willing to teach me and give me hope. But of them, my granddaddy is who I look up to the most, 'cause he taught me everything that I now know about life, about music, about baseball and riding bikes. He taught me about Jesus and how he cares. Someday I know I'll see him in glory way up there. He was always so full of happiness and light. He'd often talk, laugh, and joke with me just to pass the time. He was a preacher, the best I've ever known. And now he's up in heaven singing around the Master's throne. Well, sure I miss him and it hurts so much. Wishing with him I could have had more time. But I know he's happy where he's at right now. And all that I can do down here is keep his memory alive. And when I finally traveled my last mile, I can almost picture it. I'll see him with a big smile. I'll run to him, but he'll run faster than me. And then I'll hug him and tell him I missed him. I promise you that's how it's going to be. 'Cause he taught me everything that I now know about life. About music, about baseball and riding bikes. He taught me about heaven and now he's there. And one day I know I'll see him in the meeting in the air. Yes, one day I know I'll see him in glory way up there. He was my best friend.
Master Paul, I got
Wow.
two questions to ask you.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Awesome.
That's beautiful.
Awesome.
The first question I got to ask you is the string instrument you're playing and your amplifier in the background. Who are they and what are they?
Okay, so the amp is just your simple Acoustasonic little small package amp. I got it for like $100 at a friend's guitar store. The guitar is a hybrid acoustic and electric. It's called an Acoustasonic. Fender came out with these in 2019. On average, they go for about $2,000.
Wow. Very nice. Has a nice tone to it.
Thank you.
You
I mean,
got
with it,
Fender.
with the
Wow.
processing over the internet. Wow. That's a beautiful song, man. You got to get that recorded and get it out there.
Yeah.
Oh, I already
And
have
really-
it. That song is on iTunes now.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
excellent.
Yeah,
Excellent.
just
No,
look up
there's a million.
just look up PJ Strassner.
Fantastic.
I love that song because I really wish that I was more intelligent with my grandfather than I was.
Yeah,
He was a
same here.
wealth of information, and his little shit was too cocky and asshole to absorb it all.
I wish
That's
I'd had
about
more
where I
time with
was with
my
my
grandfather.
grandfather.
I
Excuse
Both
me.
understand.
of my grandfathers died when I was fairly young. So I wish I had more time with them.
So, you look like Kilroy over there, Mike.
Hello, Mike Hunt.
You look like Kilroy.
Mike,
I'm sorry,
always
what? I
happy with
can't
that.
hear you.
You can't hear
Hello?
me?
Hi, I'm sorry, what? What'd you say, old man?
All we see is the top of your head.
I
Oh,
just
okay,
think
I
you look
forgot
like
what you
Kilroy.
said something. What was that?
Well, I just said you look like Kilroy.
Oh, I'm
Because I
sorry.
always
I must be buffering.
Wrong person. I'm innocent.
Good to see you, man. I decided to crash your stream.
Well, welcome.
Great to
Welcome.
have
Long
you.
time no see. I used
Hello,
to work with
hello.
her. Yeah, we used to get in trouble a lot.
Unfortunately, I used to work with him as well.
So,
I decided I haven't
Yeah.
harassed you enough, so I decided to come bother you on your YouTube show.
yeah, I need to send you some more memes. We send some of the nastiest memes to each other back and
Hey,
forth.
Nerdporio.
Oh, dear.
It was a meme war. It lasted forever.
Yeah,
I have a
well,
guest star. Can I put a guest star on?
Sure.
Come here.
Oh, well, you got a bunny?
Oh, it's a bunny.
Honey.
It's my
When did you get a
bunny.
bunny?
Hi.
Hail
I
Bun
love you too. What'd you say?
Hail Bun Bun.
When did
Lee Bun Bun. Hello. Hi.
when did you get a rabbit?
I got her 2 weeks ago.
What's her
Oh,
name?
And
wow.
What's her name?
Lady Jade.
Lady
Hi.
Jade. Very
I
nice.
should have guessed. Well, hello.
Oh.
Well,
Yeah,
taking over the
bunny
show.
rabbit.
Taking
Odo
over the
Bunny
show,
Bunny.
I see. Oh, we lost her. The
I
buddy
think-
took her off.
I think we lost connection.
Yep.
Oh well.
And
Oh,
I see the long-suffering Mrs. Tag. Thank you for
The
thank
rabbit
you for
crashed.
letting
Did you
us know.
crash? Did you crash the stream? Sorry, she pressed the wrong button.
rabbits never do that.
No, not her, huh?
A quick hello to Punkwaddle.
Don't do it
and
again, don't do it again.
Royal Life Form.
Yeah.
Editorial.
Hi there, folks.
Let's
We might as
see.
well- yeah, there we go. All the names. There we go. Get all the names.
Some guy named Paul.
Some guy named Paul. I think that's what we should do from now on. It's some guy named Paul. Some guy named Paul. So, what's your plan for this weekend then down there? You're gonna do some troubadouring and then doing some fighting.
Yeah, pretty much. Just walking around. Aside from all of that, just walking around the convention, seeing all that there is. I would really like to find if I can find one thing at this convention. I want to find a Star Trek: The Next Generation uniform.
Oh,
But
which season?
any, I like the ones with the collar and without. I like them equally.
What size are you?
I'm gonna plead the fifth on that one.
Well, you know what? You know what? We
Welcome
need
to
to
my
talk.
world.
I want to talk to you, and then sometime here because there might be some who can arrange out there for you.
Okay.
There's another one.
Definitely.
Admiral uniform.
Yeah. I'm not-
Admiral.
The only admiral around here is Nerdporial Lifeform. That's what he
Yep.
calls himself, the admiral.
Admiral life form. Yeah. Admiral. I need to get some of those things to pop up like those guys do. I gotta learn how to do this stuff. I'm still as
clips
Mike
that
knows
the
down
clips
there.
that I
I'm about
do?
yeah, the clips or that
Oh.
Nerdporial and all the others.
Well, that's easy. You just download you just go to any YouTube downloader site and download the clip you want, and then just put it into the video tab of StreamYard. I think it's under brand, I want to say, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. I need to learn. I need to learn.
Yeah.
This is a learning experience all across the board for me. I'll be the first one to it. Nerdporial uses a 4K downloader.
Don't ask me anything about this. I'm still trying to figure out the intricacies of a trebuchet.
Nothing wrong with a trebuchet now and then.
Oh, I love a trebuchet.
Yep,
So,
they're good for
Wendy,
punching cars and pianos.
Out of all those movies you watched with the long-suffering Jimmy, what would you say your favorite movie out of the whole lot was? Was it The Corsicans?
Yeah, I just teaching Sean Corsican Brothers. Just love that one. I think I like the rock and roll scene at the beginning and at the end best. It was a cute show. I didn't realize that was their wives in the movie.
Yeah.
I never realized that was their wives. They were married to those ladies while they were doing the movies. Well, Tommy Chong is still married to his wife.
Mm-hmm.
They've been married since like 75 or something like that. You don't hear that often in Hollywood these days.
No, and of course, those guys, what they all did, their crazy comedy, all that. It's like you wouldn't think that theirs would last. All these comedians always, they're like their fifth or sixth
right
spouse, as they go along. The one thing I have to sit back and say though about The Hidden is that movie convinced me Kyle MacLachlan would have made a great Data in Star Trek Next Generation.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Definitely.
That's an interesting idea.
Definitely.
Yeah. If anybody has not seen that movie, that's one I recommend across the board for.
What's the movie called?
It's called The Hidden, and it has Kyle MacLachlan in it, and I can't remember who he was paired up with in the film off the top of my head, but it's a really good film. It's a cop film, aliens, all that stuff. Even has Ivanova from Babylon 5 in there playing a hooker.
Interesting. Yeah, I'll have to add that to my list.
Familiar.
It's like Label goes, now I know.
It's really crazy because Punkwaddle and our life form has two questions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, one, the trebuchet is really good for throwing toilets. They really did that. Also, BMC minis. Now, on the other half of it, what's my favorite movie? Okay, I'm a softie. Princess Bride.
Love that
Good
movie.
film. Good film. Excellent swordsmanship.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is an amazing movie.
Mm-hmm.
It brings us together like
Mhm.
marriage.
Marriage.
Inconceivable.
Well, I was best friend at my best friend's wedding, or best man at my best friend's wedding, and I almost did that bit during my speech. And I thought, no, it's a little too much. And then he came up later and said, "Why didn't you do it?"
Yeah. Not to mention
For
Andre
sure.
the Giant was in that movie.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
I'm
Oh, yeah.
reading. I read a book that Carrie Elwes had written about the making of The Princess Bride. It's a really good book. One of the very first stories that he told was about Andre the Giant,
Oh,
and he
Mhm.
said that one of the very first scenes that they filmed in the movie was actually the scene where they were all on the rampart, waiting to storm the castle.
hmm
That was one of the very
Oh, yeah.
first scenes that they filmed. And he said that
Yeah,
during
where
the
Wesley's in.
scene, he Andre the Giant, he let out this monstrosity of a fart that like the sound people were having to rip off their headphones. And after it finished, Rob Reiner looked at him and said, "Andre, are you okay?" And I said, Andre just looked at him and said, "Much better now, boss."
Funny. I once heard Jake the Snake on Joe Rogan's podcast telling a very similar story of this time
Yeah.
that they were in the ring together. Apparently Andre had Jake against one of the turnbuckles, and he was like sitting on him on his shoulder and farted on his shoulder.
A little passive aggressive in that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But that was a really good book. The making of it, of A Princess Bride, was a great book to read. It was so funny.
It, and they're talking about wanting to remake it. It's like, how can you remake perfection?
That book, it
I
was
mean,
the fact that they actually made that movie successfully, because that is a very hard. I don't know if you ever read the novel, but it was such a fantastic novel that there were several people before Rob Reiner got a hold of it that tried to do it and couldn't make it work. And he managed to balance it out. But that was
That's the weird thing is I'm really not into Rob Reiner movies, but that
Me
one,
neither.
yeah, I'll make it.
Yeah.
That was
I mean, he was. He got the best cast put together. I mean, Peter Falk as a grandfather.
Yeah.
And of course,
Who played Fassini?
Oh God, what's his name?
Which character?
John something?
Fassini. Oh, what was his name?
I think someone said it in Wally Shawn, I believe.
Oh, Wally
Shaw.
Right, okay. Inconceivable? Yeah, Wally Shaw. Yeah, Wally Shaw.
Yeah. His death scene was the best I've ever seen in any movie.
Yeah, where he's just laughing. He's like,
Well, there's a story about him in the book. In that same book, there's a story about whenever he and Carrie Elwes' character they're doing the drinking of the poison wine. And I guess right before the scene started, Rob Reiner had scared him to death. I can't remember why, but the reason he was actually sweating because he was afraid he was going to screw the scene up and Rob Reiner was going to rip him a new one or have him replaced. So he was really sweating bullets for real.
Wow.
that
Believe
scene. But
it.
he did. Rob Reiner apparently did that because he wanted to get fear and nervousness out of him.
You
Take care,
Well,
Courtney. Have a safe trip.
I don't think you know what that word means.
See you later.
Good night, Courtney.
Wallace Shaw. I mean, not that I'm a big Woody Allen fan, hardly the case. But one of my favorite movies out there is his Radio Days that he had, and of course the one character who's playing the superhero over the big hero over the radio is Wallace Shaw. He's got that voice, but then he's standing on that box. He's a short guy. It's like, yeah, that's exactly how it is. How you picture, yeah, how you picture, how you picture, in your mind's eye what the person looks like and what they actually do look like. And that was my first experience of Wallace Shaw, and I thought it was absolutely hysterical. I know, like I said, I don't necessarily recommend Woody Allen movies per se, but if you get a chance to, if you love old time radio and radio shows, that is the one definitely to watch.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it's got a good cast in that one too. It's got what's her name? The lady who plays Marge Simpson, she's in there. Of course, Wallace Shaw. I mean, all across the board, just a bunch of great people in there.
That's the thing. When I was growing up, little kid, I wanted to be the sound effects man on a radio show because I just loved that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
How they did all that, and then I found out a lot more later on. Never really wanted to be at the mic, but sound effects guy, that would have been fun.
I think anything to do back at that time. You just listen to those old shows, and it's like, wow, how they were able to draw you in, get you going. You could sit there and listen, and I don't know if you ever the old time horror show or whatever channel they have.
Late night horror show,
late night horror show. Yeah, that definitely anybody who doesn't go that way and listen to those shows are just wonderful.
Inner Sanctum.
They got those. The Whistler, Inner Sanctum, Dimension X.
Viking Bar.
I mean, all those great ones. And, of course, that was not all horror. They also have some of the Sherlock Holmes in there, and they have detective ones.
The Shadow. Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men?
The Shadow knows.
Yeah.
He's been the topic of some of the after show conversations I've had on Gary's channel with some of the guys, about superheroes would like to come back and do right, and that's the important thing.
I've got to confess, I'm old. I remember a lot of that stuff. Listening to it on radio.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The one that I really like is they have the actual recording of War of the Worlds from 1938, I think it was.
Oh, hell yeah.
The H.G. Wells. And that's where my opening line in the chat came from. 2X2LCQ actually came from that.
Yep.
But, not a lot of people get that reference, but it's on YouTube. And
WC Radio played War of the Worlds full and complete one night when I was working a night shift. I didn't want to wait on anybody. I was listening to that, mesmerized.
When it comes to War of the Worlds, I'm sorry?
No, go ahead. So what now?
Go ahead.
When it comes to War of the Worlds, I still wonder to this day why someone felt the need to do a movie adaptation to it, because the whole thing about it was the lack of visuals, so you had to work through that to create the atmosphere and the setting to make it feel real, and that's what I think was the whole thing with it and why it was so popular for back in its day. Like, I heard that when it first came out, people were like, old farmer folks were out with shotguns thinking it was legit. Yeah. And I think that just making it into a movie just takes the whole media, especially horror. I'm the horror fan. I tried to get the Baron to put me on to talk about horror.
Well, we can do it sometime. Let's talk.
Better. Halloween special.
Here we go.
What I think is that horror has so many. But I think that horror has so much potential in different other things. It doesn't have to be just a movie. Like a simple radio story can be scary, and even a picture. I think that a lot of people, especially like movies, you know, there's some things you can't touch. It's supposed to be in its own medium because that's what they had to work with, and they made the best out of it.
It makes you use your imagination, and your interpretation will be different from somebody else's. And it's fun to just get together and talk about that kind of thing. You know, what did you see in your mind when they describe the container opening up?
Yeah, and there's nothing scarier to you than your own imagination.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I think a lot of horror movies and horror nowadays doesn't play on that, and it just doesn't have that magic, for lack of the better term.
Ever since the 70s,
the horror movies today are like 3 people or 4 people are outside. There's a car running, and they look, oh, no, they get trapped, and they run into the building where the killer is.
Yeah.
Garbage.
Yeah, and there's a lot of same predictable plot lines and stories. And you know, there was a time when I thought, you know, Tom Savini was all that great with all the blood and gore special effects. But really, I don't know. I think it shows too much since the 80s, you know, or 70s, since Night of the Living Dead. You know, it's what you don't see that really scares me. You know, and
exactly.
You go back to a movie like Cat People.
Alfred Hitchcock.
But it was there. And again, it's open to your imagination and interpretation.
Exactly, and that's
a lot more fun.
Yeah, horror really forgot that.
You had the Hays Code going back then, which made the writers and directors work harder to make a better story.
Exactly.
And things were a lot better back then.
Well, it's not what you saw, but it's what you think you saw, which is in your mind. It's what was left to, you know, something happened. It's like sometimes what you think is much more horrifying than anything that you show on the screen. And it can be a letdown.
Monsters of the id.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, that and the Hays Code just made it more fun because people would see what they can get away with.
Yeah. And there were some things that were kind of interesting that they did get away with. If you've ever seen The Man Who Came to Dinner, take a good look at Ann Sheridan in the second half. How they got those nipples on screen, I'm not sure, but somebody missed something. And it's on YouTube, that scene. So you can Google that later. But that was a hilarious movie.
I'm hearing keyboards tapping right now.
Monty Woolley was the star of that one, and he was just awesome.
You know, I think that's where I liked a little bit more the gothic horror more than anything, because there's a lot that's left to the mind. I mean, yeah, you had some good 80 ones. I mean, Fright Night, obviously, I think was an absolute fantastic.
Dinner's in the oven.
Yeah.
And then
Fright Night for real.
For the gory stuff itself, you'd have American Werewolf in London, because you had the humor and everything that was alongside of it all. So it was one of those that was a gory one, but still there was a little bit more than just the fact that we're doing gore.
And
you gotta kill yourself inside a porno theater.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, a lot of the not interested. It's like you're handcuffed and here's a saw. Cut your hand off. It's like, okay, okay.
It's just torture porn. Modern horror is just a theme park ride.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It doesn't stick with you. But I mean, sometimes that comes with its perks. It's a fun time, but if you want like good horror, it's just not around anymore.
Yeah.
No,
you don't see it like the old days anymore. Everything is, they go for the lowest common denominator, and there's not many women in Hollywood you haven't seen their boobs, or more. And it's
a boob is a boob, man.
Yeah. In one, you want to see them all.
Well, yeah, Mike loves looking at boobs.
I'm a dirty old man, okay? But on the
Consider
other
yourself a
part of it,
boob connoisseur.
She is a boob connoisseur. We
on
spent
the
many
other
a time
part about it,
rating them.
you sit back and you look at Paul, and what is he doing? He's got a
I no.
fender
Oh,
for
He's
crying
right
out loud.
above it all.
Oh, yeah, right here.
Mhm.
I'm just working on getting this laptop set up right now.
Ah. So when are you heading out? By the way, Paul, is it tomorrow or?
Yes, tomorrow evening about 6 because I'm coming from Virginia. So I have to work 8:30 to 5 tomorrow, and then I'm
Yeah.
gonna be heading out around 6, driving through the night, and gonna get to Nashville sometime Friday during the day.
All
Where
right.
in Virginia are you from?
I am from Luray, Virginia.
Oh, I spent some time in Bristol.
Nice.
Oh, Luray Caverns
Although
is
you're
in
in
that.
Nashville, you stop by
Luray
car.
Caverns is at I
friend of
actually
mine
work
is
I
manager.
actually work
Yeah.
at Luray Caverns, John.
Oh, excellent! I love that place. We went there when I was a kid.
Yeah?
That was just fantastic. I think that's the one that has the stone organ.
Yes,
Uh,
it is.
Okay, I have
If
the
you
recording of
I'll
that.
tell you
They were
this
filmed
though.
at 45 there.
I'll tell you
Beautiful
this though.
place.
If you were to come today,
Yeah,
it would be different
really.
because back when you came along, you would have had an actual guided tour with a tour guide. Unfortunately,
Yeah,
we had to discontinue that when COVID hit. And so
really.
it's all self-guided now. So there's just a bunch of guides
Yeah.
either walking through the caverns answering questions or in stationary spots
Yeah.
to provide information on that specific room, including the organ.
Oh, that's too bad. Because that was just a wonderful place. I loved that.
Yeah.
And in fact, in the gift shop there, I got this bullhorn, and it's the kind you blow through from an actual bull. And my mother's been trying to throw that out for 50 years, and I can't get it out of the track.
Wow.
Every now and then, I'll upset the neighbors about 2 o'clock in the morning and go outside and blow it, and they'll think there's a moose. Yeah, that was a
Hey,
a fun place to be.
do we know anybody that blows a horn like that?
Denny.
Yeah.
Denny. So who
But do you
are the
know
guests?
anybody who blows a moose?
Oh,
Only the shotgun.
okay. Oh. Thanks for bringing that up. Here, I'm going to have to do this. I am going to have to do this, folks. Now that she brought that up, I'm going to have to do this. Just a moment, please. Going to have to do it. Yes, sir.
You brought me on here. You let me on this stream. You knew it was going to happen.
Oh yeah, but now that you brought it up, I gotta share something. I'm not gonna let this go without being shared at all. At all. Ready? Here we go. The sound coming through? Oh no.
What the
Never mind. Okay, unfortunately. Okay, let me. This is going to have to go through again. My apologies. The sound, for some reason, was. Okay, so here we go. Start one more
The
time.
green Peter, he is not distracted because there is right now a deer sucking off another deer on the side of the screen. Look at the replay. Stays down, stays through it. The ball releases to the hole, but once again, a deer is sucking off another deer.
What in the heck?
Yep, I had to do that. Sorry.
And on that note, I'm leaving.
Okay.
No, but for real, I do need to get off of here so I can get to bed for work in the morning.
Yeah, definitely. And Paul, I hope you have a safe trip, and I can't wait to see your duel that you have with the mighty Darth Pappy. Make sure we all know when you stream it. I want to see that, and secretly, I am rooting for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think
I'm
I think
really
it's going to
wondering
be
where the
streamed.
hell the ball went.
I think it's going to be streamed on Pacific 414's channel. So just
Okay.
so watch there for sure.
Okay.
All right.
It was nice to meet you, Paul.
And it was
Nice meeting you, Paul.
Yes,
Yep,
it was nice
same
to
here.
meet all of you, Mike, Wendy, Old Man, John. And I'll go ahead and real quick plug my channel. I actually have two channels. My main one is the Star Wars guys. It's me and my brothers. We talk Star Wars and general pop culture stuff. Like we do 3 weekly live streams. We do Tuesday Night Trek, which is me going through Star Trek for the first time with some friends that are veterans of Star Trek. Then there's oh yeah, you'd be surprised what sort of stuff I'm seeing for the first time, entertainment wise. But
I can remember, Paul, whenever you were on Doomcock once, and they were giving you a list of movies that you needed to watch.
I still have that list.
Oh,
Do
that
you?
was
How many have you gotten through?
Okay, all right. You asked for it. I apologize. Okay, I have to preface this list every single time with a warning that some of the stuff on this list may just make your head explode. So here is the first list. You have to bring it up.
Yep, I'm bringing it up here.
Let me know when you're ready to scroll down.
I was so surprised that you hadn't seen so many of those movies. Of course, I'm Baron's age, so
right.
I've seen these.
And these are the ones that you have to see?
These are the ones I have never seen. Ever.
You have never seen. Wow.
Yeah. I'm scrolling
You've
down.
never seen Casablanca?
Never seen Casablanca.
Blade Runner?
Never seen Blade Runner.
Baron, you need to tell him off.
Mike loves Blade Runner.
My favorite.
Clash of the Titans, definitely.
The original, not that thing they made a few years ago.
Why is Princess Bride on here? It's been a minute, but I have seen it, so I'm taking that one off.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, that's better.
Close Encounters, great one.
Blazing Saddles, you got to see Blazing Saddles.
Oh,
yeah.
Excuse me, why? Whip this out.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, that's all the movies I haven't seen. Now, from this list spawned a second list of movies that were on the first list that I had seen, and I ranked them from how much I enjoyed them. So let me bring that list up real quick.
Okay.
And this one also caused a bit of consternation on Doomcock's stream because, well, I'll show you when we get there.
Does Doomcock even talk to you anymore because of this?
He's not returned my DMs. But yeah.
He doesn't return anybody's DMs.
You're right. So yeah, Wrath of Khan is at the top. Here's why he got so bothered. You'll notice the order I have the Matrix trilogy down here?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I used to have it flipped where I had said that I like Matrix 3 more than Matrix 1.
Yeah,
I remember that. Yes, I remember that on that stream.
Yeah,
I can see him. Yeah. I can see him having problems with you putting TMP above Star Trek: The Motion Picture above Final Frontier.
It's Star Trek 5. It's Star Trek. And I know anytime you mention Star Trek 5, you summon Phil McCracken, so I'll just say it. # justice for Star Trek 5.
Yeah.
I just can't get over the fact that Goblet of Fire isn't your favorite Harry Potter. Like, what the hell, dude? Goblet of Fire is the only one that matters.
I like Order of the Phoenix.
Shame on you.
I can't help it.
You're all good. You're all good. I still like the ones when they were younger kids. To me, the first two were still my favorites because they were younger kids.
I have to say, I'm impressed that you put June 1984 that high. That you liked that film.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah,
and also there is one more that I'm gonna show. If y'all ain't seen Rubber, you need to see Rubber.
Yes.
Rubber?
Rubber is a masterpiece.
It's about a killer tire.
Yep.
Named Robert.
Yes.
It's a tire.
And it kills people by vibrating at a certain frequency that makes people's head explode.
I reiterate, thank God it's a tire.
For a long time.
So yeah, I'm gonna get back to work on watching those movies as soon as I can. So yeah, that's sort of what happens on the Star Wars guys, and then I have a gaming channel called Master Paul's Game Room, where pretty much I just play whatever game I want when I want. Like earlier today, actually, I did a stream with my youngest brother Jonathan, and we were playing Mario Kart.
Man, I haven't played that in a long time.
Yeah.
It's all that.
I don't think I've ever played a computer game other than chess and Minefield and Solitaire.
Right.
You know,
So yeah,
I'm old.
that's pretty much everything that I do on YouTube. So like I said, it's the Star Wars guys, Master Paul's Game Room are the names of the 2 channels. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not already. And I will see you guys later. Okay?
Yeah.
Take care,
Yeah,
Paul.
again, have a safe trip.
Nice meeting
And
you.
I want
Nice
to
to
talk
meet
to you
you.
some more, Pastor Paul, when you get back. So when you get back, please DM me.
I will, absolutely.
Good to see you, Paul.
And keep up the
See you
good
later.
work with the music.
Thank you.
Say hi
I
to
will.
Coach for me.
I will. See you guys.
Take care.
Thought you'd never leave. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Oh, he's such a
Just kidding.
sweetie. That was a
He is.
beautiful song.
Oh, I
Yeah,
can't believe how many. Yeah, he's very talented, extremely talented. I can't believe how many times I've been bumping into him on these streams. It's always fun. So I'm glad he came on here. I was actually pretty honored that he came on. So
that was fun.
So let's see. Corsican Brothers, you loved it so much you saw it twice. You liked The Hidden. Blazing Saddles. Did you watch Blazing Saddles, or
We didn't
you
watch
just passed?
Blazing Saddles, but we're going to watch it this coming weekend. We've been talking about it, so we're going to watch
There
it
we
this
go.
coming weekend.
I think
So-
it's still on Netflix. Don't quote me on that.
We don't have Netflix anymore. I'll probably find it on Amazon Prime
I'm
Video.
sorry.
Oh, it's your
I
fault
got the-
the prices going down.
Well, I'm old fashioned. I got it on DVD, so I mean, I'm old.
Old man
physical.
vaporized.
Hey, I've got the
Yeah, I
did
vape
it.
too.
original Star
Right.
Wars.
Yeah, I'm a vapor
That's how old
too. I haven't had a cigarette since January 1st, 2016. I've been
Yeah.
vaping.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did the vaping make you uncomfortable?
No, I vape. I've been
No.
vaping while we're
Oh, she
talking.
There we
Yeah,
go.
she's like-
Okay. I know sometimes like seeing someone smoke a cigarette makes you want a cigarette or vape. I'm like
You-
that.
No. I just
Mike,
don't
you-
smoke cigarettes anymore. I changed to vape. I want to learn how to smoke a pipe like Baron. I'm
I'll
waiting
teach
for
you.
you
I'll
to
teach
do your beginners video.
I'll do it just for you, Wendy. I'll get
Okay.
that done for you. And
First
yeah,
tip is put the filter in it.
you and Wendy have a lot in common there, Mike. Other fact you're not, except for the fact you're not in the medical field. So, are you still in the medical field? Kinda. You're kind of doing that watching over.
Me?
No, Mike. She was watching over. What caretaker or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but Wendy, of course, is the trauma warrior RN. So, if I go down, I want her taking care of me.
Damn.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do it.
I will have been in next month. Will be my 30th year as a nurse.
Jeez.
Salute.
And I was a Army combat nurse with multiple deployments to war zones, to hot zones.
Shit.
And, then I came back, and after my 20 years, I went ahead and went into surgery and got into the heart team, and eventually got moved to a trauma shift because they needed a heart specialist on the trauma shift for heart trauma. And then I was gotten promotions until last year. Now I'm actually the nursing director over trauma services at a very large level 1 trauma facility.
Wow. So now I have to ask. So being in a combat field, is it worse than dealing with some of the patients you have civilian-wise, or is it about the same?
The environment is completely different because you're being shot at.
That would make sense. I guess there was no room to cover.
And that's the hospital back here in the States.
In the hospital setting, I can actually hold my head up.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to worry about getting shot in the head. So.
And of course, you did tell us the one night about you found up people's other orifice.
Oh yeah, up the dark side of medicine, as we call it. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, she's got stories about stuff found up people's
people losing things up their butts. Yeah.
You want to know how chickens get eggs, then.
I still love that about the apple. The apple one still gets to me.
Yeah.
I had one at the place I work at. I had someone try to steal a bottle of ketchup by shoving it up their ass, but That's probably like just common. It's just
I love
for you. It's
ketchup.
probably a Tuesday.
Whenever I first got out of the army, okay, I went mainly into hearts, and so I was working on a surgical heart team, and then they moved me to a trauma shift because they needed me there, and so I started seeing all these foreign bodies in the rectum, and I thought, what the hell? I never
Jeez.
had seen that before. I mean, it was like it was 3 times in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
At one point, and it was like, what the hell have you people been doing while I'm in the army?
Yeah,
Oh my
and this is intense.
God.
Like,
You
I
could
was an
make a
army
movie about it,
girl.
Wendy.
I'm not prepared for this. I'm
Oh
ready
my
for gunshots. Give me a gunshot wound, damn it.
Well, Wendy, they could make a movie about it and call it Brokebutt Mountain.
I actually want to write a book. I need somebody to actually be my ghostwriter, though. I want to write a book that says things I've seen pulled from people's butts.
Talk to Ray. He'd love to do it.
You
Go
can
from
make a movie
dolphins
called
to
Chicken
rectum.
Mountain.
Sandra offered him up for it too. So
Yes. So now he's got to. I'll work on him on that one too. Say, hey Ray, you got to help her. Come on, you love to do a story, help pull straight on a butt book.
I'm too busy to write a book myself. So
Books have those big word thingies.
yeah. I was an
I can
army
see
girl.
that
I
on
talk
Oprah's
pretty
book
normal.
club.
I'm a simple girl. I was in the army.
If I wrote a book that was all about what I know and did, it'd be put in a nonfiction area, only for about 5 seconds before they moved to.
There was a Just Cause stream on King Dolphin TV, and John, you were on it, where he put out a list of 20 things that if you haven't done, you mark what you haven't done. I had the lowest amount of things I hadn't done. What was yours, John? Well, how much was yours? I can't remember.
I think mine was 9.
9.
9 or 11.
Mine was 5. And everybody was shocked because I had the lowest score.
Yeah.
Like, I was in the army, man.
Yeah.
When I was a young man, I and 2 of my buddies were going to write a book. It was entitled "Places We Have Been, Things That We Have Done, and Why We Can't Go Back There Anymore."
Yeah, I could probably put some stories into that one myself. Germany may quake if I ever get sent back, if I ever go back.
I still have to ask though, how many did Ray have on that list?
I think that he had 9 too, didn't he? Or was he the one that had 11? I think he had somebody had 11. I think that for hire had 11. He had the most things.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I think that was him.
I thought if that for hire was on there, I'd expect him to win the whole thing.
I was very, very surprised. I told Ray later, like, thank God you didn't have a 21st one on there saying showed your boobs at Mardi Gras. I wouldn't have been able to count that one either.
And then they would have had to bring out the sensor blanket for Pudgy.
I think I put too much vodka in my Coke.
I'm writing a book right now entitled "Thank God for the Statute of Limitations."
Yeah.
Hey, Wendy, I think you got it wrong. You put too much Coke in your vodka.
That could be the problem.
Mm-hmm. Hey, speaking of Fed for Hire, did you see what he did for me?
I hadn't been on.
Oh, awesome.
Let me see it. Oh, awesome. That's cool.
I mean, I just popped on, it popped on and it's all that, like, Sunday? It's like, holy cow, that guy
Very cool.
is so nice. I love that guy. Don't let him.
If
you tell him I said that, I will deny it. Okay, I love that guy.
Oh yeah,
that's funny. He said the same thing to me about you.
Oh, good.
I know you guys all know 24/7, but he's put some good stuff out lately.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm glad to see his internet's back up.
Oh, good.
He's in Houston, right? They had some pretty nasty storms.
Yeah, they did, didn't they, down there? And now Vigilante Williamson's moved down there too with them, so it's like, well, that could be cause of problems too. Yeah, Vigilante went from
the heavy wet snow last Monday, and all night long I'm hearing trees cracking and falling down around the house.
Oh
One ended
God.
up across the road, broke a telephone pole. 6 o'clock in the morning, I hear this kind of crash. There was a guy who went underneath the tree and damaged the top of his car. He's lucky he didn't get beheaded.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's
Yeah, that's
another
not something
reason
I can
glad
say.
I'm not doing the firefighter anymore.
I don't know how I would react to all that. I really
It's
don't.
not fun.
Mm-mm.
I mean, one of the worst things I saw was basically a tree through the cab of a truck where a guy's head used to be.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's some things like that you don't forget, but you really,
Mm-mm.
really want to.
Yeah. Yeah, I
You aren't
believe
a
it.
kid, and I've seen a horrible lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had an impaling last year that was pretty ugly.
Ooh.
The guy
I think you
had
told me
a
about that one.
yeah. He was behind a truck that had a bunch of really long pieces of lumber, and so it was a 2x6, and some of it fell off, and they were on the highway. It went through his windshield, in through the center of his steering wheel, through his left lung, and all the way through his seat. And man, those
Yeah.
firefighters, I give those guys credit for bringing him in and getting him
Yeah,
out of that car. We
one of
saved
the
him.
things one of the things I learned is I don't ever get behind a flatbed truck with pipe on it because we
Yeah.
had
Oh.
boats.
Yeah.
And it
No.
was pipes going
Man.
through the guy. I mean, you know,
I'm
But
back.
those,
taking a core section.
yeah, those firefighters did an amazing job getting that guy to us alive.
Yeah. That's it. And you
I've been-
try like hell, but sometimes it gets to you.
You know, we ended up removing his entire lung.
Yeah.
We just did it. We didn't even remove the board. We just took the board and everything out with the lung still inside the lung and just took it all out together
Wow.
because we were too concerned that if we pulled the board out, we would stir up too much bleeding.
Yeah.
And so we just went in and clamped off the pulmonary arteries immediately, and just
Yeah, with a
cut the
board,
lung
you
out.
never know if you've got splintering that's going
Right.
to catch on something.
Yeah, yeah.
He survived, I take it?
He survived.
Awesome.
He had to
He was
have a rib cage reconstruction with plates and screws, but he
Yeah.
survived.
I was gonna sarcastically
That's
ask
right.
if he was okay. Holy shit, he lived.
He lived.
He
Damn.
was
Two
in
things
Wendy's
about
research. He's good.
and something that John would know because he was a firefighter. Impalings look very dramatic, but
Yeah.
you usually either you're killed instantly or you survive.
Yep.
There's not a lot of middle ground.
Yeah. Same with
If they can get to the hospital alive, we can usually help them.
Yeah, it's the same thing with motorcycle accidents. Either you don't get a scratch because you're wearing your leathers and your helmet, or you end up with, you know, basically dead and degloved.
Yeah.
And one of the worst that we had in Clifford, I wasn't at this one, but my buddy was. And it was a guy, you know what a suicide shift on a motorcycle is?
You bet.
It's the shift on with between your legs. Well, he ended up hitting a tree, and the worst possible thing that could happen to him happened to him.
Yeah.
And he left there without his two best friends.
Wow.
But
we had a guy that hit a cow one night on his motorcycle.
Yeah.
The firefighters told us they brought him in. His neck was not broken, but it was dislocated. And that was a bitch to relocate. That was an absolute bitch.
Yeah, because one wrong
the handlebars, the firefighters told us the handlebars went through the cow.
Oh, jeez.
Jeez.
Even I don't like
When I was
hamburger that.
young, I used to ride with a lot of really badass motorcyclists. I mean, badass.
Well, I think what happened was he tried to swerve at the last second, and so the handlebars went in sideways.
Yep.
Oh, playing chicken with a cow.
That was on a dark highway road. One of those old. In Texas, we have a lot of dark farm roads that are highway roads.
Yeah.
On a dark desert highway.
It was on one of those. Yeah.
Yeah, motorcycle accidents are. I know one guy. he got into a motorcycle crash and it like damaged his brain, and he has never ever been the same ever since.
Yeah.
Yep.
I see a lot of those. I see a lot of those.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not unusual for a
What?
motorcycle crash that the patient survives and makes it in. There is a multiple surgical specialty complex procedures. I mean, it's not unusual to have up to 5 surgeons needing to work on the patient.
Yeah, shit, I don't know
Broken
what the
backs,
hell.
broken
I remember he was going like 110 miles an hour. I was a kid. It was a family friend, and it was like my dad's like, yeah, it's Earl after the accident is a completely different person Earl before the accident.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
can
just
see that.
Here, I thought you were talking about that phone representative that we all knew that wanted to show us all his YouTube
No.
channels. Yeah.
No, I'm talking about someone I know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
like it
unfortunately,
was.
we knew him.
Unfortunately, I mean, I like want to like laugh at him, but it's like he's damaged in the head. It's not like
It's not his
like I
fault.
see his Facebook post talking about like crazy shit, and I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
what? But my mom's
Yeah.
like, no, Earl has brain damage. You just can't laugh at
Yeah.
it. He just has a condition. But
Yeah.
It's not his
Yeah.
fault. He can't help that.
No.
yeah, and he was wearing a helmet, I think. I don't know.
Yeah,
It was
and
a long time
you know,
ago.
the helmet can do a lot to help save the cranium,
Yeah.
Mhm.
but the internal damage
Yeah.
is actually worse than the dented head, you know, a dented skull.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
they're rattling around.
I've seen a couple where they ended up with basal skull fractures,
Yeah.
and that's, I'm told, one of the worst.
Mm.
Yeah.
A good rattling around their brain, even if you have those helmets on, is enough to cause bruising and
Yeah.
all that fun stuff, and you get that
Mhm.
swelling.
Yeah. You still get the subdural hematomas, bleeding on the brain.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're
There's a
roasting
place
out
in
old man over
Minneapolis-
there.
There's a place in Minneapolis called the Viking Bar. It was the hangout for every badass motorcyclist there was. But really interest is gangs that hated each other. Inside that bar, they couldn't do a damn thing to each other, no matter how much they hated each other. I watched a guy come out of there, climb on his 48 Harley. Beautiful bike.
Oh yeah.
He left the parking lot, drove down at University Avenue in Minneapolis where it ended. He got mowed down by some asshole in a Cadillac,
Jesus.
and he didn't want to stop.
Yeah.
Needless to say, with all the bikers that were in there, he regretted that big time.
Yeah. No
Oh,
doubt.
I'm sure. No
Yeah.
doubt. Exactly. Yeah.
My,
Well, you know,
my
the car
Yeah,
that hit
you
me
feel
while I
well.
was jogging last year, when I got hit by that car while jogging, that was a Cadillac.
Yeah.
Damn Cadillacs.
Oh.
I had a
Got
guy in a
lubricated my
Cadillac trying to
legs.
kill me. I'm
I
riding
thought
down
it was-
They almost
Normandale
killed
Road,
me.
and this asshole in a Cadillac tried to run me off the road. I kicked the side of his car in.
Oh, it was a fucking
He went
Cadillac,
to
huh?
make another
Yeah.
swipe. When I
I
pulled the
can't blame the
45 out,
lady.
no idea.
I can't blame the lady that hit me. She was having a heart attack.
Oh,
She was having a heart attack while she was driving, so I can't really lay a lot of blame on her.
Yeah, just
So,
one of those wrong place, wrong time type things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm lucky it wasn't worse than
And
it
she was
was.
actually, because she was taken to the same hospital the hospital I work at.
Yeah.
We were taken to the same hospital. It really sucks whenever you're a trauma nurse and you're taken to your own hospital.
Yeah.
Holy crap, that sucks like you wouldn't believe. You know every single person there, and you know they're going to cut your clothes off of you. And everybody you work with now knows what I look like naked. You know.
Mhm.
So,
Yep.
which I don't think I look bad naked, but still.
Well, I was going to sit back and say that now they're all they're all envious. It's like, I wish I would look like her.
I don't have the six pack
when I was
anymore.
driving a truck in Minneapolis, and it's a really bizarre intersection type thing. But anyhow, in it, because the weather was absolutely crap, the guy that started the whole debacle, and believe me, it was a debacle. Cars were stacked up all over the place in the accident in the snowstorm.
Yeah.
But the lead car that got crashed The car right behind him got out, ran forward to find out what was going on. The guy in that car fell out of the car onto the ground having a heart attack. The individual that was right behind him was an emergency nurse.
Right.
Saved his life. I couldn't believe it. It was unbelievable for me.
Yeah.
Back at that time, I'd never
Yeah.
thought anything like that could ever happen.
There was last year, back last summer, I guess, not long after I had come back to work after being hit by the car. I had left work and I was over at the grocery store, and I was standing in line waiting to check out, and the lady in front of me was there with her 11-year-old granddaughter, and all of a sudden I heard the lady scream, "Call 911," and I looked. I was actually still in scrubs, and I was we have a designated, like, it's a long sleeve t-shirt basically, but it's got our emblem on it with a trauma emblem on the back of it, and on the emblem it says, "You expect the best, we give nothing less," and on my left sleeve it says trauma going down the sleeve. So I grabbed her, laid her down, she wasn't breathing, and I resuscitated her before EMS showed up. And everybody was freaking out. But yeah, I managed. Luckily, I didn't have any equipment that I normally would have, but still I managed to, with some rescue breaths and John knows what a sternal rub is, a hard sternal rub, stimulated her and made her gasp and take a breath. And I got her back because she had her pulse was so shallow and so slow. She was almost in cardiac arrest.
Well, is that one of those things where instinct takes over?
It is. I guess it is, because it was just, when I think about it now, all I remember is giving rescue breaths and doing the sternal rub, but there's other things that people were saying. Actually, a lady 2 people behind me in the line was a news reporter for a local news station.
Oh my.
Wow.
And she ended up talking about it on the news.
Oh, wow.
Because she witnessed it and giving me a shout out on the news, and I was like, holy crap. I had no idea she was going to do that. I mean, I recognized her because she's one of the faces on the 10 o'clock news.
Yeah.
And so I was talking to her afterwards. When the EMS showed up, it was really funny because the EMS know me because they see me in the ER all the time. And whenever they showed up, they just looked at me, and the paramedic was like, "What the hell? You can't even wait for us to bring them to you anymore?" Like, snooze you lose, dude.
Yeah.
Wendy is a very impatient person. I found that out.
One thing is for certain. That lady, when he had her heart attack, was in the right place at the right time.
I couldn't help her. My leg was nearly amputated, and I was bleeding internally. I could not help her, but I was telling everybody else what to do because they were telling me she's having a heart attack. And I was saying, I'm a trauma nurse. You need to start doing this while I'm laying there looking at my nearly amputated lower leg.
Oh, damn. Well, as much as I'd love to stay and talk and get to know you guys, my phone is about to die, so it was very nice being on your show.
It was nice meeting you.
Very nice.
Nice meeting you too.
We'll talk, Mike, okay? I want you on. And by the way, it's not Parkinson's. He thinks it's anxiety. I have anxiety. Can you believe that?
Yeah, I can.
Really?
Yeah.
Anxiety.
Shit.
Yeah.
Well, I'm about to die. I'll talk to you later.
Okay, take care.
Have a good night, guys.
Take care. Stay safe.
Hello.
Good night.
She's a good girl. I worked with her.
I was going to ask you whenever
Pretty cool.
you of course, I didn't get to be here before the show started, but I was going to ask you if what your iron levels are whenever they said anxiety.
You know what?
Because a lot of times low iron can also cause anxiety and problems like that as well. And I know that because of my dad.
I'm going to ask
According to a friend of mine who is a doctor, said they should do a toxicology on you.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Whatever your last blood work was, they may want to look at your iron, see if you got an iron deficiency.
Yeah, I mean, I got one actually before I went into all this, and they said everything was good except for my vitamin D. And of course, up in Minnesota, in Minnesota.
Yeah, you're not going to get a lot of sun. Yeah. You get nothing but
Yeah.
sun down here. You need to be a winter Texan.
Yeah, I know. I think there's a place on the coast I could stay.
Awesome.
John, are you
Probably
just doing a
after.
cute profile or you put in?
What's that?
Are you just doing a cute profile or are you going to input?
Who, me?
Oh, well, see, my computer is over here, but my big screen is over here. And it's easier to see the big screen.
I would have put myself on camera, but whenever I first got home, I still had a mask mark across my face. And
Oh,
I still
dear.
had the surgical OR cap mark across my forehead.
Mhm.
Wendy, those mask marks are incredibly sexy, and they're in this year.
Oh,
That's
Aaron's got a kink.
kind of like my last night in the Navy. They took me to the enlisted men's club, and we decided to do away with the cups and just drank out of the pitchers. And to make a long story very short, I ended up being dragged back to the barracks. And the one guy, he had his brand new uniform in the plastic hanging off his bunk. And I threw up on that, on his bunk, on the floor. They finally got me a bucket, and I woke up with the ring around the bucket, or the bucket ring around my face. And of course, the next day, last day in, happy on getting my discharge, feeling a little, screwed up, but I'm not bad. And we're all lined up. The company commander is taking the roll, and he says, "Now, who was the guy that decorated the barracks last night?" I kind of lowered my head. "Oh, it was you. I can tell by the ring." That was back in the days.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It's another sense of humor finding that hilarious. It's
Mhm.
that and the vodka.
Well,
John, you
think I
know
was
what a holding
here
company
and
is,
a
don't
couple
you?
of other folks. Hmm.
You know what a holding company is, don't you?
Well, that's kind of like what I was in. They called it Tem Doings, temporary duty. I forget what the other one is, instruction, I think. But that's basically the holding company for guys about to get discharged or transferred or what have you.
Yep. I was about to get transferred.
Mhm.
Guess what? We smuggled about 2/5 of booze in there.
Oh,
You can
gee.
imagine what happened.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. Like the first night I got drunk in my life, I was 16, and a buddy of mine had a fifth of Windsor Canadian. And I was the only one drinking that night because the one guy had to drive and the other two were afraid to. So, I'm going to be the big shot, dummy. I drank most of it and ended up when they dropped me off at my house, they literally dropped me off. And I crawled up the porch. I must have been making noise because Dad come out to the front door and, "What's wrong with you?" And I look at him going, "Not a friggin' thing." Well, now my father was a formidable presence. 5'9", used to carry engine blocks on his shoulder for fun. That kind of guy, and you don't want to piss him off. I was surprised. He didn't beat me, he didn't yell at me, nothing. He figured I was going to be for the next 3 days punishing myself from the inside out. And he was right. Never drank till I was 21 after that.
Where I grew up, you could drink at 15 years of age if you
Yeah.
had a driver's license, which was
Mhm.
the age to get a driver's license back then, and you had a job. You could go into
Yeah.
any bar and drink. They all knew you.
Yeah.
It was a small town. Well, I got drunk.
Mhm.
I was driving home. The cops pulled me over. Now, I know these guys personally.
Yeah.
I'm arguing and fighting with them. They threw me in the back seat of the squad car, and they're driving along. This is it for you. They pulled in, they opened up the door, dragged me out of the car, yelling, screaming, and swearing, threw me on the ground, and then put on the red lights and siren. Unfortunately, it was my front yard of my house. They woke up the whole damn neighborhood that they brought me home drunk. Oh boy, was that a good one.
I'll bet. That's one of those things where everybody in town knows.
You got it right.
My dog.
And for those of you that don't know, this was back in the 1960s.
Oh, wow.
Well, gentlemen and lady, we have been at this for 2 hours. So we're at 11 o'clock Central Standard Time.
Wow.
You're kidding.
No, I don't kid. I don't kid at all. These are so much fun. I mean, time flies, but unfortunately,
you are right.
do have to. Yeah, so I hate to call a fun time over, but I guess I gotta be the party popper, pooper, keeper. What I know, I'm good at that. But of course, there's always every Wednesday on there. Any last statements we have from all of you before we call it the night?
Well, thank you for another fun show, and it's always hard to say goodbye, and I'm always amazed how fast the time goes. It's good to see you all, and have a great week.
I really hate to say goodbye too, because, well, John, my buddy there, Wendy, another one, and everybody else has been plugging in along the way. Boy, I hate to say goodbye to you guys for now, but, well, we'll meet again.
Yep.
And Aaron, thank you for having us.
Yeah, I love you guys. You guys are such great friends. Yeah.
We love
I'm actually going to be, King Dolphin TV is having his 6-month anniversary on Saturday, and I'm going to be on there. I'm sure, John, you'll probably be there too.
Well, I have
a
spaghetti dinner at the lodge on that day, and I don't know how long it's going to last. I may be doing a live report from there.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to, but I'll see what I can figure out with Raymond. But
Weasel a good word for me, and maybe Ray will have me on if you do that.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Always
I'm
good to
hoping
have
you'll be
you.
there. I'm hoping you'll be there.
Oh yeah, I'd be more than happy to.
Anyway. Oh, and also, I just wanted to say, I saw that they said your wife had said your iron level was 60. That's like the very bottom of normal. So 60 is the very bottom of normal, by the way.
Time to get more iron in me.
Yeah.
No chewing on railroad spikes. Trust me, you don't want
to do that. You're getting a shot in the ass.
Yeah. Don't want that. And of course, on my side,
spikes there either.
And of course, every Wednesday, Catch Baron After Dark here. Every last Wednesday, we have this open mic. Everybody get together and having fun. Sunday, if the internet keeps up at the 24's channel there, we have the Primetime Kings. It's 24/7 Fusion Media. Fat Steven Seagal, the mysterious vigilante Williamson, and myself. That's 5:15 Central Standard Time every Sunday. So who knows what we'll talk about?
Oh, you got to see that.
Well, I think we're going to be loaded for bear with all the stuff that happened that week, but we unfortunately didn't get there. I think it was a conspiracy. I think that's what Twitch is probably saying. It's a conspiracy. So, from me and all my guests, thank you everybody for coming in here and being part of the show. Everybody who's in the chat, long suffering Mrs. Tag, Punk Waddle, of course Courtney, who is on her way out to Boreal. What else do we have here? Andy was here. Very kind to have him in there. Nice guy. Floral was here. All that. So, again, thank you everybody for showing up, and can't wait to see you all again on another day. So, as we say on the Kings, peace.
Yep. All the best, brothers. And Wendy.